Now, pressure balance universal expansion joint. So, where large amount of lateral deflection are involved, a pressure balance universal expansion joint must be used. In this design, two bellows are used in the low end of expansion joint and a single bellow in the balancing end. Normally as shown, the balancing bellows will be subjected only to axial moment if the tie rod are properly designed to rotate or pivot at their attachment point. In order for pressure balance expansion joint to function properly, the pressure thrust retained by tie rod must exceed the axial force moment forces of the expansion joint. In a large diameter and low pressure application, it may be impossible to utilize the pressure balance expansion joint to eliminate the pressure loading, or at best, the effect may be uncertain. In such cases, another expansion joint design must be considered. Pressure balance expansion joints are not recommended for use in services where the pressure equalizing connection between the low bellow and the balancing bellow may become plugged or blocked by the low, medium, or by contaminants. Where low consideration permit, this problem may be overcome by the use of a tear as a center fitting of the expansion joint rather than an elbow. In some cases, the pressure for the balancing end of the expansion joint has been introduced from a separate pressure source, but this is considered somewhat hazardous. A control failure or even a slow control response might result in partial or full pressure loading being imposed upon the piping or equipment, thus eliminating the initial reason for using the pressure balance expansion joint. Now, pressure balance expansion joint located at change of direction. So the figure shows that a pressure balance expansion joint can be used at the change in direction other than 90 degrees. In this case, the growth of the longer pipe is absorbed as axial movement in the expansion joint, while the thermal expansion of the offset pipe system introduces both axial and lateral component of the pressure on the expansion joint. Only fixed points are required at the ends of the lines and directional guiding is used. The guide on the offset run may be used to absorb the axial moment of forces of the expansion joint if the piping is not sufficiently steep to transmit this directly to the fixed point. Pressure balance expansion joint at equipment such as turbines, etc. So the figure typifies good practice in the use of pressure balance expansion joint to absorb the thermal expansion of the equipment such as turbine pumps and compressor. The primary function of the expansion joint is to minimize loading upon the equipment casing. Note, only fixed point is required at the change of piping direction. So, and if the expansion joint is located immediately adjacent to the machine, no guiding is required. Care should be taken to provide sufficient flexibility into both flow bellows and balancing bellows. So the forces required to compress the expansion joint do not exceed loading limit for the equipment as established by equipment manufacturer. Installation instruction. Expansion joints are designed to absorb movement according to predetermined design data. The calculated service life of an expansion joint is based on the precondition that the expansion joint will never be subjected to mechanical or thermal load exceeding the stated design data. In order to achieve the maximum service life, pressure resistance, and reliability, caution should be taken during the handle, storage, and installation of the expansion joint. The necessary care includes adhering to the following advice. Failure to comply with the installation instruction could reduce the service life and pressure capacity of the expansion joint. This could lead to damage or at worst, the breakdown of the expansion joint or the pipe system. Therefore, it is important to carefully read installation instruction. Okay. Next is the rubber expansion joint design. Na metallic kanina, ngayon naman rubber. So, ito yung itsura ng rubber. And yung kanina is metallic bellow, ito rubber lang. Rubber expansion bellows can be used for both suction and delivery discharge due to excellent stability and pressure capacity. Rubber expansion joints are generally used as connector between vessels operating at widely different temperatures ranging up to 115 C lang. So the size ranges from 32 mm to 500 mm, including a wide variety of different flanges and materials. Most common available materials are the EPDM, neoprene, Bona, Netril, and Hypalon, butyl, and natural rubber. So ito yung mga rubber type. Okay. So rubber expansion joints are generally used in heating and air conditioning system, marine environments, sewage plants, industrial system, and for mild chemical and oils. Rubber expansion joints permit the necessary motion and flexibility in a working ship's piping system. The compactness, resilience, and low stress field features make them ideally suited for shipboard piping system. Sewage treatment plant, water treatment plant, and air scrubber system all employ the use of general rubber expansion joints. Sludge pump, row, and secondary service lines, typical air blower, and scrub tank use expansion joints due to resistance to abrasion and corrosion, as well as their flexibility, making them well suited for this application. So for yung mga exhaust, ang gas exhaust sa mga boiler, hindi pwede ito kasi high temperature yun. So nuclear and fossil fuel plant use rubber expansion joint to compensate for thermal expansion and contraction on condensed lines, steam turbine exhaust line, condensate lines, cooling water lines, and aeration systems. They have been also successfully installed in demanding industrial ducting system where flatter, heavy vibration, wet or dry corrosive material are encountered. Rubber expansion joint reduce noise and vibration caused by forces in pumps or centrifuges by acting as a shock absorber in the system. So thermal movement is also an important consideration in a piping system. So depending on the temperature change and length of pipe, thermal movement can easily be great enough to exceed the allowable pipe stress. Rubber expansion joints are designed to alleviate piping stress, absorb pipe misalignment, compression and extension, noise and vibration in a relatively short space. Standard stock items are the single arc and the twin sphere joint. The spherical shape arc of connector and the excellent original structural design contribute to the great success of the joint. Combined with its internally laid top flexible fiber and its molding technique, rubber expansion joints have great ability to withstand the force of a creating vacuum. Internal reinforced ring can be inserted to increase the suction capabilities of the bellows. Rubber ex So, okay, so nadoble lang to. So, this is the video. Okay, then dito yung temperature correction factor. So, ito yung mga type, ito yung application. So, meron tayong temperature correction factor na nakalagay dito, pero galing to sa internet. So, may design siya. So, rubber expansion joint installation guide. Bolt torque. So, below are the minimum recommended torque values for non-metallic expansion joint with beaded end type flanges to achieve an adequate seals. Yung sa discussion natin sa machine design na ano yun? Initial tightening torque. So, kaya, so recommended torque, andito sa 1 to 6 inches to 12 inches. And then yun, 10 foot-pounds. So, pagkalagay nila is isla. So, hindi dapat yan. That is foot-pounds. Okay? So, note, over torquing bolt can cause the formation of the rubber expansion joint flanges, thus resulting in a possible premature failure. So, circle na natin to, change natin yan. Now, tighten bolts in stages. Tinanggal ko na, foot pumps na yan. Use recommended torque values above to achieve a good seal. Never tighten an expansion joint to the point that there is metal-to-metal contact between the expansion joint lines and the mating flange. Okay? Ito yung mga size, 4 inches, 8 inches, 12 inches, 16 inches. Nandiyan yung bilang ng bolt. Example lang to. Yung mga dimension yan, tingnan nyo na lang yung ASA flange o ANSI flange dimension. Storage and handling. So, store expansion joints in a dry, cool location such as a warehouse. Store plants face down on a pallet or wooden platform. Do not store other heavy items on top of the expansion joint. 10-year shelf life can be expected with ideal condition. Do not lift with rope or bars through the bolt holes. If lifting through the bore, use padding or a saddle to distribute the weight. Ayan. Do not let expansion joints sit vertically on the edges of the flange for any period of time. Additional tip. Insulation over a non-metallic rubber expansion joint is not recommended. However, if the insulation is required, it should be made removable to permit easy access to the flange area to check bolting. It is acceptable but not necessary to lubricate the expansion joint flanges with a thin film of graphite dispersed in glycerin or water for ease of disassembly at a later time. Do not weld in near vicinity of a non-metallic expansion joint. If an expansion joint is to be installed underground or will be submerged in water, contact the manufacturer for a specific guideline. If the expansion joint will be installed outdoors, make sure the cover material will withstand ozone, sunlight, etc. Materials such as neoprene and chlorophyll are recommended. Materials painted with weather-resistant paint will provide additional ozone and sunlight protection. Check the tightness of retaining rings 2 or 3 weeks after installation and retighten as necessary. Warning. Warning. Expansion joint may operate in pipelines or equipment carrying fluids and or gases at elevated temperature and pressures and may transport hazardous material. Precautions should be taken to protect personnel in the event of leakage or splash. Rubber expansion joints should not be installed in accessible areas where inspection is impossible. Restraints. Restraints are used for lateral and angular compensator. The restraints absorb axial action produced by inner pressures. Even so, the connected pipe must be equipped with light fixed point to absorb moving force and moment. Precise rating details and operating parameters of the corresponding machinery or equipment must be known to correctly calculate the degree of restraint. Recommended on most applications to prevent damage due to excessive pipe movement. Consists of 2 or more tie rods connected between pipe branches. Triangular end plates, gasket, have 2 holes for bolting securely to flange and 1 hole to accommodate the connecting tie rod. Spherical washers are incorporated to accommodate moderate piping alignment, but also assist with angular torsional lateral movement. Each rod incorporates double nuts on each end to keep the expansion joint from over-elongating. When excessive axial compression is a concern, compression nuts can be incorporated to restrict movement as needed and to protect the expansion joint from damage. Not designed to replace pipeline anchoring. Okay. So rubber expansion joint restraints. Now, there are 2 types of tie rod restraint for lateral rubber compensators. Ito yan. Outer restraints are used to absorb the action force from internal pressure. Outer and inner restraints are used to absorb the action force from internal pressure and vacuum. Ito yung rubber mo. Yan yung restraint mo. Okay? The definition of moment, same din dun sa metallic bellow, elbow, joint, expansion joint. So meron tayong axial compression. This is the dimensional reduction or shortening of the face-to-face parallel length of the joint measured along the longitudinal axis. Then the axial elongation is the dimensional increase or lengthening of the face-to-face parallel length of the joint measured along the longitudinal axis. Parang isang ano lang. Next is the lateral deflection. Is the movement perpendicular to the axial plane of the expansion joint. It is a shear motion on the bellow. Vibration. The movement of the joint due to vibration which are effectively intercepted and insulated against transmission to the remainder of the system. Yeah, vibration, diba? Next is the angular movement. The displacement of the longitudinal axis of the joint from its initial straight line position. So a combination of axial elongation and axial compression. So sa taas is elongation, sa baba compression. Torsional movement. Yan, twisting of one end of the expansion joint with the speed of the other end about its longitudinal axis. Concurrent movement. So concurrent movement are developed when two or more movement in a pipe system occur at the same time. So if multiple movement exceed single arc design, there may be need for additional arches. To perform calculation for concurrent movement when a pipe system design has more than one movement, please use the following formula. So actual axial compression plus actual axial extension plus actual lateral X plus actual lateral Y. Also naman siyang rated, ganun din. Calculation must be equal to or less than 1 for expansion joint to operate within concurrent movement capability. Okay, so dyan tayo sa hanger and support. So, general. The interpiping network must be attached to the building structure in a manner that will ensure adequate support under all static and dynamic operating conditions. These conditions are: 1. Adequate connection to both structure and the pipe. An allowance for weight of the field pipe. Slope. B. Expansion of the pipeline. And E. Seismic process. F. Pipeline temperature. Codes in the standards, ito yung mga code natin. ANSI B31 series. MSS, so SP58, materials in design of pipe support. MSS SP69, selection and application of pipe support. NAP 13, sprinkler system. This is standard as for the application of pipe support other than those for sprinkler system. Kasi maraming explanation dito sa support system sa NAP 13. Okay, nakita natin. So, system components. So, this pipe support is an assembly of components, including a device or method used as a direct attachment to the structure. A means of securing the pipe in a connecting member extending from the secured attachment to the device used to secure the pipe. Other devices include pipe pistons or anchors and pipe guides. Attachment to structure. So, various methods and devices are used to attach the support to the structure. So typical ito A insert. An insert, letter A. Ito. Nandyan yung anchor mo, tapos insert mo na lang siya. Papasok. Pwede na sa dadaan. Basta ito, makakapasok ka dyan. Is installed at the time this slab is poured. An anchor expansion valve is installed after the slab is poured. Yan. A beam clamp. Figure 1, figure 2B. So this is one pa rin ha. Provide attachment to expose a structural member. Beam clamp can also be welded to the beam brackets and attached to wall. So yan. So the manufacturer of each type of attachment will have a specification of the maximum loading permitted for each type of attachment. Okay? So kung in detail ka ano ka ng hangers and rod, pwede sa kaya ba yung capacity yan, o yung pipe natin, so kailangan mo mga to. So normally, dito, spacing na lang, tapos may mga standard sizes na sila, nakalist. Okay, pero minsan over-design yan. So, hindi na dumadal sa calculation. Pero pag di-require, as approved, magagamit ba itong mga formula dito? Hanger rod. Ito yung una. The hanger rod, ito hanger rod. Yan. Yan, marami yan, pinuputol sa site. Pag nasa construction kayo. Installation. The hanger rod is usually threaded and connect the attachment to the hanger so that is threaded to receive the rod. Ang hanger is yung pinapatungan na. So the diameter of the rod is selected by the amount of weight it supports, which is determined by the area of the rod at the root of the thread. The safe weight of being supported by different capable of being supported by different diameters of table 1. Nandito. Yung mga safe load at rod temperature of 60 Fahrenheit. So maximum, isita nyo na yung pounds niya. So nakukumpit na yan. Kung ilang rod ang gamitin mo, so divide mo mo yung size. Kung meron ka ng given na size, normally is 10 mm, as in 10 mm dito, at 38. So 610 pounds lang ang capacity niya. So isang ano is dalawa. So that is 1210 ang capacity ng dalawang rod. Kasi hangin, dalawang kailangan mong latot. So yan, meron ka ng 1210 pounds capacity to. So table 2 conforms to UL and FM requirement for minimum acceptable rod diameters for value size supporting individual pipe. So ito naman, based on the pipe size, meron na siya isang perasong rod size. A rod diameter less than 38 mm is not recommended to be used as a support for any pipe inside a facility. The minimum is 38. Okay? So, tatakpan. Kanina, hanger rod. Ngayon is hanger. Yan. This is the hanger. Yan, so damit, di ba? A hanger is the device used to secure the pipe to the hanger rod. It must not distort, cut, or abrade any pipe while allowing free movement. There is a wide variety to choose from, including a pipe clamp. So, figure 2A, ito, pipe clamp. Kikita nyo yan during construction. Saddles, trapeze hanger, yan, flying trapeze. A clevis hanger is a adjustable hanger for single pipe. Yan, kita niya, diba? So, when pipe are insulated, precaution must be taken in order not to distort software fiberglass insulation or create a break in the vapor barrier if one is provided. So the figure 3 for an installation of insulation over a split hanger rod. Ayan. Tapos may take pa yan. So, and figure 4 for an illustration of protective insert used with lever hanger. Ito naman. Yan. Ito yung metal jacket, insulation. Yan. So, dito naman, split ring hanger. Dalawang type. So, mas mahirap to. Kasi, ito yung nakakabit na yung pipe, saka mo lalagyan ng insulation. Ito, di pa, so lagyan mo yan. Hanger spacing. So the horizontal spacing of hanger depends on the size of the pipe and the requirement to prevent sagging based on the weight of the pipe filled with water, based on the weight of pipe filled with water, weight of insulation, and other heavy valves and fittings on the pipeline. For pipe with no other requirements exist, the recommended maximum spacing is as follows. So for steel piping, 1 inch in small is 8 feet at center. Steel pipe, 1 in 1 foot and larger, 12 feet center. Upper tubing 1.1 inch smaller, 6 feet on center. Upper tubing 1.5 inches larger, 10 feet on center. Sa plumbing code, sa doon sa mga plumbing na references, meron din silang spacing. So almost pare-paras lang sa mga project. Meron kayo project specification ng piping. Tingnan nyo doon, meron din mga recommended specific spacing doon. Pipe protection, may spacing din siya. So, iisa lang yan. Iisa lang. Cast iron pipe, every 5 feet at its fitting, for pipe length at 10 feet hanger shall be equal to pipe length. Glass pipe, 10 feet on center and next to hanger at faces for 3 joint. Plastic pipe, all sizes and types continuously supported to prevent sagging by means of an angle iron or 18 gauge angle supported every 10 feet. So for vertical piping, so cast iron pipe with choke joints, each floor is 20 feet or 20 feet on center. Cast iron pipe with no half joints, each floor or 10 feet on center. Copper and assist tubing, 10 feet on center. Glass pipe, all other piping, alternate course with the pipe on center. A base support or hanger support at the offset of all piping from vertical to horizontal. So, lagyan mo yun. Now, calculating the weight of the pipe and contents. For system with limited complexity that comply with conventional spacing, the hanger assembly shall be selected to support the total weight of the piping. The procedure used to calculate the total weight is as follows. A. Calculate the weight of the pipe using the following formula. So W is equal to F times 10.68 times T times OD minus T times 2.2. Bakit hindi ang OD minus T hindi in sa diameter? That is the mean diameter. Okay? Where W is the weight of pipe, F is relative weight factor, table 3, T is equal to thickness of pipe, OD is the outside diameter of the pipe, and a safety factor of 5% for tolerance in pipe manufacturing. So, ibig sabihin yan, yung OD minus T, hindi siya inch diameter, kundi mean diameter kasi pipe ang pinoconsider natin. Okay? So, kaya ito yung mga weight factor. Ang base niya is stainless steel, carbon steel. Okay? Ang relative weight, ano yung standard density ng steel, stainless steel is halos parehas. So, and the rest, yan yung factor niya. So, kaya weight factor. Average plastic pipe weighs 1/5 as much as carbon steel pipe. So, magagaan. B. Determine the weight of the water content in the pipe. Refer to the table 4 for the water weight based on the size of the pipe. The quantity and weight of water shown for steel pipe should be used for all pipe. They are well within accuracy and safety factors expected for hanger selection. Dito yung pipe size, weight per foot ng pipe. Then, ito naman yung galos sa laman. So, i-convert mo to sa weight ng water. Okay? So, normally, nag-hydrotest ka. Sa hydrotest, di ba, laman tubig? So, yan ang kukonsider mo lagi. Kahit ano pa ang laman niya, gamitin mo sa pipe mo. Pag nag-hydrotest ka, tubig pa rin ang laman niya, pinakamabigat. Okay? Then, calculate the weight of insulation on the pipe. For standard insulation in thickness, use the family formula is W is equal to FD, where W is the weight of insulation pound per cubic foot, F relative weight factor for insulation, andito. Then D is the density of insulation. So ito yung weight factor. Hanapin mo yung 1.0 dyan. Yan ang reference. Okay. Next, pipe expansion. So all materials will change dimension as they expand and contract due to temperature changes above and below the temperature at which they were installed. So dimensional changes result in change in length of run of the pipe. So pati dito, thermal expansion din. So if the piping network does not have the necessary flexibility to compensate for the expansion and contraction, the resultant stress could cause damage to connected equipment or cause the pipe to leak or fail completely. So, majority ng hanger and support sa taas, di ba? Nakahang yan. Yung kanina, yung mga anchor, yung sa baba. Okay? So, pwede ka mag-anchor sa taas, may mga fixed doon. So, ito normally sa hanger and support. So, thermal expansion of piping, ito, mga value. Coefficient of thermal expansion as per ESTM 0696. So, may standard yan. Kung dito yung mga thermal expansion. So, collected din to galing sa mga libro. Okay? So, kaya lang in-standardize. The thermal expansion for plastic is not linear, but increases with increasing temperature. Okay? In the range of temperature encountered in general utility deep piping, this is not a consideration. So, pili ka na lang yan. Pero pag ang reference mo, ang table mo is met temperature, so gagamit ka talaga ng temperature. Consider mo yun. Expansion loop. The stress and forces resulting from thermal expansion must be compensated for by providing flexibility in piping. Flexibility is generally provided by change in direction of the pipe and offset. These are generally enough to allow adequate compensation for normal expansion. So branch piping connection to provide flexibility and illustration into your pipe. Where their installation is not possible, a mechanical expansion joint will be provided. So yun na yung diniscuss natin dalawa. Expansion joint saka yung expansion loop. Okay? So for long run of straight pipe or when there is a doubt as to adequate flexibility, the method used most often to provide required flexibility is the expansion loop. In the figure, there is no specific dimension for W. However, this dimension is generally the same as L. Could be as little as 1 of L when necessary for installation space requirement. Now, so support tayo So to calculate the length required to absorb movement without damage, the following formula is used. L is equal to 1.44 times the square root of B times delta C, where L pipe length, B diameter in inches, outside diameter, delta L is change of dimension in the pipeline. Inches. Na-confirm to. Inches ang luwas na speed. Okay? This figure is calculated by multiplying the pipeline by the rate of thermal expansion found in table 6. So, yan. So, support ito ay yung kanina hanger. So, ito yung sa hanger. Ito ng pipe expansion, pasa sa support. And the rest niyan, seismic consideration. All utility piping must be installed in conformance with code requirement for earthquake zone where the facility is located. The model and local code provide guidance and criteria for the design of piping support. So, design na naman. In general, sway bracing is provided to prevent excessive pipe movement. Okay. Another design naman yung seismic. So, consider mo yan kung kaya. Okay. So, na expansion loop. So, ito, based sa static, wait, makukuha mo yung mayroon mga spacing. Yung size of rod, nakukuha na, di ba? So, next, itong pipe expansion. In-explain yung para sa consider mo yung pipe expansion. Para sa mga fixed support mo. Expansion loop. Then, ito yung lalagay mong expansion loop sa piping. Tapos, yan, ito yung length. Pagkuha ng expansion loop. Sa hanger, kailangan mo rin yun. Wait, So, okay. So, this is the end of this topic. Flexibility of piping system. Okay. Thank you very much.